Hi everyone, I'm here today to show you the new chart that I've created for the Derwent Chromaflow 150 coloured pencils. So Chromaflow initially came out in 24 pencils I think, and then moved up to 72. Now we have both a 100 and a 150 set. So this is the maximum amount of pencils in this line, and I've created this colour family chart to go along with the pencils. So if you go into the description below this video, you'll see a link. Click that link and you'll be able to download this for free. Just remember to put 0 in the how much to pay box and you'll get it for free. Everything that I do is for free. So let's have a look at the actual colours then. So if you have got the 150, you will know what colours are inside, but if you haven't, this will give you a really good insight into all of the shades that are within. Obviously we've got charts from Derwent that show you the colours that they've got in the set, but you never really know until you see them properly, like by pencil rather than a digital image. So here we go. This is the 150 pencils colour family chart. As you can see, I've been busy squirreling away at this chart. What I did was I swatched out all of the different pencils and then cut out all of the different squares, so the different swatches, and then I sort of mixed them around on top of my desk and tried to put them in as close order as I could as possible, and then I sort of stuck them together so that they wouldn't get mixed up with anything else. So you can see these are all of the like reddish pink ones and some violet ones, and they're all kind of stuck together because I did it very sort of haphazardly. But yeah, that's how I do it. And eventually I came up with this chart, and this is done on Canva, so just it's the same as all of my other charts. Let me see if I've got them to show you to hand. Here we go. So this is, for instance, my Prismacolor family chart, Polychromos on that side, Holbein on that side, what else, Luminance, Artex. I've got quite a few of these colour family charts, and this is the most recent one. So let's have a quick look through the different families then, just so I can explain the reasoning why I've put things in certain areas. So I do my colour family charts according to undertone, and that is something that is quite difficult to explain how to identify undertone. It's something that you just look at and your eye kind of picks it up and you just know that it's the same family. It's very, very hard, but unless you can see undertones, you won't know what I mean. But as you can see, all of these yellows here at the top are more of a warm ochre yellow. So if we just compare this to excuse me, if we just compare this to Prismacolor, you can see it's quite similar in that these are the ochre colours, and the next ones are more more true yellows, I suppose. So like this sun yellow would be a canary yellow, sunflower possibly as well, but that's more of a yellowed orange, I think. But anyhow, these are your kind of proper yellows. And these two here, this is a bit of a weird one. This Autumn Blaze was the last colour that I put in a family because I really couldn't figure out where it was. It's definitely an orangey colour, but it wouldn't fit in with any of the other families that I did, because if I did, like say I tried to put this in here, it would probably fit like next to the red orange or next to the clementine, but then the flame would look weird. Do you know what I'm saying? It wouldn't fit anywhere. And I found this peach sand colour that is a very, very light version of this Autumn Blaze. So if you really sort of pumped a lot of white into that Autumn Blaze, you'd end up with a peach sand. And that's kind of how you recognise the undertones, is if you added a load of white to it or a load of black to it or a load of grey to it, it would become that colour. Very, very hard to explain. Then we've got these very goldy kind of yellows, orangey but also gold. Again, some of these will blend with different colours in different families. It's not to say you can only blend within a family. You know, you could probably put, let me see, you could probably put this sienna brown with the spice in this family, and you could probably put the flame over the sienna, you know, in front of the sienna gold. So you can mix and match between the families. And I always say when I do a family chart that it's not perfect because we all see colours differently anyway. So you might get this chart and think, oh, that belongs there or that belongs there. And also there's just some pencils that just refuse to fit in certain places. So I've just done my absolute best to put them where I thought, but it's not perfect by any means. Now, this is the first iteration of the chart. There's been 2 iterations. The one that I put on last night was the one that I did without colouring it, and there's just one mistake in that, and that's the flame and the clementine should be switched over. So I have uploaded the chart fixed now, so when you click that link below and get the chart, it will be fixed. It's just that the clementine and the flame are mixed up. So let me see if I can find that in the little swatches that I did, because there must have been some reason why I put the clementine in front of the flame. Watch that be the only one I can't find. Where are you? I bet you can see it and you're shouting at me. There we go. Clementine flame. So yeah, to me on these swatches, the clementine looked like a lighter orange than the flame, and yet when I've done it on here, the clementine looks a lot deeper. So I don't know what's happened there, but I don't know. Anyways, flame before clementine. Moving on. So then we've got these sort of sienna colours. If you have the Caran d'Ache Luminance, you'll know that there are very similar colours to this, and it's the colours that a lot of people use for base tone on skin. So that's that kind of, it's kind of a reddish brown, but it's not what I would call a reddish brown. It's so difficult. Like for instance, reddish brown, I would go to redwood or even raisin, I guess. But these, they're kind of more neutral, I suppose, but warm. Then we've got the orangey reds. So this is like, it starts off with a fairly orange colour, but if you deepen that, you would get deep vermilion. And if you added a bit of sort of, I don't know what you would add to that to get scarlet, but it's the next colour that came along that, you know, fit in the right place. Then you've got cardinal and strawberry. So these are orangey reds. Then we've got the Turkish Delight and the redwood, which again, a bit like those burnt siennas and things, you find these colours in the Caran d'Ache Luminance as well. It's a kind of ashy pink or an ashy red. It's really hard to describe, but that goes really nicely with the redwood. Then you've got the pure red, the Derwent red. It's called different colours in different sets. And there wasn't really anything that would go between the pure red and the raisin. You could have a look over here at the cardinal and the strawberry, but they are a slightly different tone. So if you added a lot of black or, you know, darker colours into this pure red, you would end up with raisin. Those 2 colours are the same undertone. And then the licorice is actually a brown, but it does have red in it. So I felt that this belonged in the right place up here next to raisin. Then we've got these kind of peachy pink colours, reddish pink. It's this is so really difficult to describe, and my brain's all over the place at the minute anyway. But you can see them. The jazzberry was really difficult to place because really it belongs over here with these, doesn't it? But putting that in here would have messed up the rest of these, if that makes sense. This is too pink and these are more purple, so difficult. But I put the jazzberry with the deep rose because they go together quite nicely. So there's lots of little families here that just wouldn't fit anywhere else. Then you've got these pinks, and as I said, going into more of a red violet, and then just adding a little bit more purple than red. You get these light mauve, pink heather, dewberry, and the midnight mauve. That's a really nice combo. Then going even more purple, we get French mauve, amethyst mauve, and dusky purple. Now this purple, along with the dark purple, are really dark. Like at first glance, they look black. So it's kind of weird how they're so dark. You know, it's weird. I'm looking at that and I'm looking at black, and I can't see an awful lot of difference, to be honest. Yeah. Then we've got the more true violet colours, your lilac, and then over into where it starts to get slightly more blue, but there's still a lot of purple in there as well. So this is a perfect blue violet, something that you would see in Prismacolor as imperial violet. And then we've got more of like the cobalt type blues in the Prismacolor. Obviously the Chromaflow have been made as a sort of Derwent's answer to Prismacolor. So a lot of the colours are very similar and the blends are quite similar as well. And obviously I know Prismacolors really well, so that's why I'm making that connection between them. Then we've got the periwinkle and the denim, which are quite greyish. They're quite desaturated colours, but definitely on the blue side, but very grey. Blue orchid, lapis blue and peacock blue. Again, this lapis blue reminds me of the cobalt blue hue in the Prismacolor, and that's just a small family there. Then we've got this Carolina blue, blue yonder and deep sea. And again, they're very, very grey. They're very muted, but they're not the same undertone as the periwinkle. Otherwise, I mean, you could really put the periwinkle over here, but it wouldn't be right. The periwinkle goes with the denim as its darker colour, and these sort of go one by one. My brain is really not braining today, guys. I'm so sorry. Some more of the kind of true blues that you usually see. You know, this is like non-photo blue, and then into where it starts to get a little bit more green. So I would say that these are more blue than green, and this is more green than blue. So I'm trying to sort of do it in a rainbow gradient, these families. The Orient was another annoying one because that is a bit more green than these two blues, but it's too blue to go with the teal and the mineral, and it just wouldn't look right, so I've put it in front of the Bondi. Next is the Turquoise, Caribbean and Eucalyptus, which is a bit like your parrot green and those peacock green colours in Prismacolor. We've got Green Meadow, Mint Leaf and Tropical Rain, sort of quite bright emeraldy kind of greens. Then Grass Green, Spring Bud and Jungle Green, which is, say, like your true green colour. If you think of green, you'll think of this kind of colour. Then we've got, it's getting more into, again, the desaturated greyish types of colours. So these are greens that have a lot of grey in them: Pastel Mint, Pine Green and Basil. And again, continuing with Cactus, Field Grey and Obsidian. They're just very, very slightly different, these two colours. These are a bit brighter, but still have a lot of grey, and these have more grey. Then we have the Laurel Green, Olivine and Light Olive. The Laurel Green was quite difficult to place as well. This probably could have gone in front of the Cactus as well as here, but I felt like this was the best place for it. Unless we put Laurel Green and Field Grey together, and then Cactus and Obsidian together, that may have worked. Then you just have the two colours again that are the same undertone and not a lot else. So I guess I was trying to fit colours in to make a decently sized family, but that doesn't always work, you know, as you can see. So they're like the olivey greens. Then we're getting into like the chartreuse and the apple kind of greens, pear, key lime and foliage. And then these again are quite desaturated, but they have more of a yellow feel to them. Lincoln Green, Pickle and Leaf Green. And here we go again with the really bright sort of yellow base. So citrus, lemon, lime, olive yellow, going into chai. This olive yellow has the same kind of colours as the chai, and the chai goes into the oak. So it looks kind of weird when you look at it all as one, but when you take each colour on its own and think that will turn into that, you can see it better. It's, again, really, really hard to describe. Then Saffron, Mango, Dijon, Mocha and Nutshell are, let's have a look. So on the Prismacolor, over here, maybe in the ginger root, eggshell beige, peach beige area, that's these kind of colours that you're getting. Also seashell pink, you know, eggshell, those kind of colours are over here. And again, this is, I think Dijon would eventually be Mocha, which would be Nutshell. Nutshell's a little bit, it seems lighter than Mocha, but it seems greyer as well, so I was not knowing where to put it really. Brown Sugar, Bourbon, Coffee Bean, quite nice warm browns. Biscotti and Natural Brown are a little bit more cool. They're a bit cooler, I think, of browns. This one has a lot of grey in it, this Biscotti. Then we've got Ash Rose and Almond Frost, which really remind me of the rosy beige colours in Prismacolor. And you know, like the clay rose, that kind of thing. Red Storm, Rose Quartz, Lavender Ash and Carbon Grey. These are purplish greys or greyish purples, however you want to look at it, and very, very unusual colours. I mean, in Prisma we do have the greyed lavender, this one, but it's definitely more purple. I think it's probably, its closest match is probably the Rose Quartz, but it's a strange kind of family to have, really. Like I say, they're very purplish, but they're very grey as well. But again, nice to have different colours. You know, we don't want exact colours of Prismas in the Chromaflow when we could have different ones like this to expand our palettes. Then we've got Morning Mist, Pebble and Basalt Grey, which are quite warm kind of elephant greys. Fell Mist, Moon Rock and Charcoal Grey. It looks like a massive difference between this Moon Rock and Charcoal, and it is. The tonal difference is big, but it would, you know, if you tone this down and down and down and down, you would get to Charcoal Grey, and it's got that same undertone, but there's just no pencils for me to put in between. So these are still quite warm greys, but they're not as brown as these ones here, these kind of elephant greys. Then you've got these bluish greys, Oxford, Winter, Slate and Neutral. And they definitely, like I say, have that blue tone. If you compare them here to the purple, you can really see the difference. And then there's only one grey that I could find that I thought was more of a cooler grey, even though it's still slightly warm, really. And that was the Platinum. And the only thing that would go with that was the black. You know, if you go from same Prismacolor, the 10% cool grey, and you tone it down and down and down and down and down, you do end up with the black. And that's exactly what happened here with the Platinum. I've just got no other greys, cooler greys, to fill it in with. So the greys are definitely a lot different to the Prismas. And then finally we have our 4 metallic colours. They feel really nice to lay down. You know, I'm not a big metallic pencil user, but they do definitely feel lovely and soft and creamy, and not, you know, brittle and weird, like, and they leave weird speckles like some metallic pencils. So they have a nice formula. I just don't know if I'd ever use them. The Silver Mint and the Ice Blue are quite nice additions, because you're getting a very dull green metallic colour, and then the same with a blue. So you would have maybe thought they'd add a bronze or a different kind of silver, but they've gone in for colours, which I thought was really nice. So I'm going to be reviewing these pencils very soon, but I wanted to do the chart first and come on and talk to you first, because before I review them, I wanted to ask Derwent a few questions about the line. Specifically, I want to ask if they will be releasing the 50 colours separate to the 100 and the 150, because currently you've got the 100 set and you've got the 150 set, but you can't get those 50 colours anywhere else. So you buy the 100, you can't get the extra 50 without buying the 150. And if you've bought the 150 and those 50 colours are used up, you won't be able to currently buy those open stock or in any other add-on set at all. So I really want to ask Derwent about that and about their plans for that. But I also wanted to put this opportunity to you before I do the review of any questions you may have for Derwent regarding these pencils, because I can also incorporate that into my email, and hopefully we'll get those answers by the time I come to review the pencils properly. So any questions for Derwent that you would like me to put forward about the Chromaflow specifically, please do, and I will do my best to get those answered by Derwent. So anyway, after all of that waffling on, that's how I made up this chart, and I hope that you find it really useful. Obviously that's what I do it for. I want to help people with their colour blends and identifying undertones and things like that. And yeah, thank you for bearing with me through a proper brain fart of a video, but I hope you find it useful, hope you enjoy it. Go to the link in the description, download it, print it, colour it and use it. Yeah, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon on Colour with Claire.